So this is it, guys. 1 official year of ownership of the 350Z. Now, I wanted to put in a bit of context how this car came to be. So if you're new to the channel or you don't know me, I own a Mark 6 Ford Fiesta TDCi, which has been my daily for the past 3 years now. And basically, I kept wanting to modify it, and everyone was like, you need it, you know, you can't make it too unreliable and all that stuff. So I thought to myself, I want something that I can play with and I can do mods to, and it's going to be worth it in the long run. So basically, I was toying with like the ST150 of the Fiesta, even a Mondeo ST220. I know how stupid that sounds, but like, you know, a couple of BMWs maybe. And then I found these on like Auto Trader, eBay, whatever. And they were relatively cheap, you know, they were like four to 5 grand. And I thought, surely I could never get insurance on that. So I set out with a goal and a plan, was to save up for a Nissan 350Z. It was a long one, it was 2 years in the savings. I'd saved up about £4,000, and I thought, right, this is it, I'm gonna bite the bullet, I'm gonna go buy one. So then it was just a case of waiting for the right one, because even though I bought it to be a project car, I didn't want to be sitting there for months on end waiting for like to get rust fixed, paint fixed, all that sort of stuff. I wanted it just to be sort of like okay-ish and replace bad bits and modify bits and sort of spend money on it. So for ages and ages and ages I looked around on the web. I couldn't find one in the price range near me. Just nothing was coming up, so it was a bit of a lost cause. They were sort of all 100 miles away, and I didn't have the time to go and view one. But then this one popped up, and it popped up for about 4,200 quid. It was in Weymouth, and I thought to myself, I've been told not to buy things on Facebook Marketplace, but I gave the chap a ring and he said it was an auction on eBay, and I just thought, I don't want to get involved in that, because obviously it'd be buying the car sight unseen. So basically I thought, nah, we'll give that one a miss. In the year that I bought it, I then went on holiday, and on holiday I saw it pop up again. It disappeared off Facebook, so I thought, oh, someone's probably bought it. It popped up again for £4,000. So I messaged the guy again, you know, is this still for sale? And he went, yeah, it is, but it's still an auction. And he wanted the, you know, 3,500 reserve on it. So effectively I gave it a miss again, because I thought, I just haven't got the time to go down to Weymouth and check it out, even though it was only like 30 miles from where I am. And effectively it disappeared again, so I thought, oh, it's going to be sold. Well, no, it came back, £3,600. It had the reserve on it, and no one had bought it. He just kept deleting off eBay every time. He actually ended up messaging me, because I was the only person who'd shown actual interest in it. And he said, if you want to come down on the bank holiday, which is officially 1 year ago on Monday, he said you can have a look at it. So I thought, yeah, all right, we can do that. So I went down there, and the rest is history, really. He took 3,600 for it. It's not in bad nick. There was a few things I noticed when I look around it, but every car is going to have those for its age. And effectively, I got myself a 350Z. So the car had already been modified a little bit. Had an exhaust, had an air filter, plenum spacer, all that sort of stuff. And that was quite nice. It was lowered on 30mm lowering springs, or whatever they are. I don't know what they are. 20mm on these, I don't know what they are. They'll be changed soon because they're horrible. But apart from that, there was nothing that really put me off the car. There was one MOT advisory, which is the W brace, and if you own one of these cars, you know what I'm talking about. That was like paper, basically, when they took that off and replaced it. But yeah, there was nothing that really threw me off the car. It was decent. I'm the 14th owner of this car. In 17 years, it's had 14 owners. Like, I think it's had a bit of a hard life. I'm treating it with respect right now, giving it a bit of retirement. And it had 112,000 miles on the clock, and there was nothing wrong with it, really. Everything works still. But I'm not going to sugarcoat the year I've had with it. It has had its problems, but then again, it's been a project car. So first of all, the alternator went, but I thought to myself, when we took it off, it looked like it had been on fire at some point. It was horrible. It was black. the wiring was corroded, so it was going to go if it wasn't with the previous owner or me. So I bought another one off eBay for 30 quid. We were going to try fix it. It had to be that problem. Solve the problem. The car runs beautifully again, even like charges how it should be charging, because the alternator is now off a HR engine, so it's much newer. Other problems I've had with it, so the rear tyres were quite low. I bought them, they're £300 for the rears. If you've watched my previous video on to getting the tyres for the car, then you'll understand how much I spent on those. So then the major issue came that I had, which was in January. I started getting an engine light. I'd never seen this code before, because according to my scanner tool, it's a code that's specific to Nissans. So most scanning, so I had to keep looking up the code. It was P1283, which is air fuel sensor ratio. It was tripping out. Now, I believed it was from a hole. It went for its MOT. I deleted the light on the morning. They couldn't find a hole. It was running extremely rich, like really rich. You could smell it. And something was obviously wrong, but it just about scrimped through an emissions test. They knew something was definitely wrong, but obviously they said, you're gonna just park it up and try and fix it. So I did. Well, I go under there and I buy a new gasket from the exhaust manifold to the catalytic converter, and that didn't solve it. It was still blowing. At this point you could hear it blowing. It was blowing quite bad. I found the hole. No wonder no one saw it, because it was behind the join. So effectively you could only see it if you were looking at it from one angle in particular, and that was up through the front's like chassis bracing. You could just see it with a torch, and it was huge. It was all the way around the join. I was like, oh shit, that's quite a nasty hole. So I had to get it fixed. I then had to learn how to take the exhaust manifold on one of these, and if you've done it before, you'll know how hard it is. They were aftermarket. I think they're probably cheap aftermarket exhaust manifolds, but they fixed the hole. I got it back on the car, and the car runs better than ever. It feels like it's actually gained performance back. I feel like that hole was probably there for quite a long time. So that's effectively the other problem I had with it. Now, when I bought the car, the engine bay was in an absolutely terrible state. It was a bit rusty, it was dirty, it looked like I hadn't been loved in a while. I've never seen rust on a pod filter before, so that had to come out and be changed. That was a really good performance increase. I actually felt that one, like the pickup. Changed all the boost, the silicone hoses in the engine bay, gave it a bit of heat shielding, and it runs right as rain. And again, I wanted to talk to you a bit about the running costs of this car. It's not overly expensive, but I feel that's something to do with the fact that it's not turbocharged. So there's less like components in the engine. But the first year's insurance cost me a whopping £195 a month, all mods declared, because annoyingly I had to restart my no claims, because the system we live by, like, don't even get me. If you're not from the UK, you won't understand unless you're here. The insurance companies absolutely screw you. And effectively I had to restart the no claims bonus again on a separate policy. So effectively it was almost like I was a new driver again. Its tax isn't, it's what I expected for a car like this. It's just over £300. That's not too bad. You know, I've had a car in the past that was running 280, so never really been a problem. Pay it monthly, 30 quid a month, it's not really an issue. Fueling. Now, I run this on a strict, like, premium fuel only. V-Power if I can get hold of it. I love Shell V-Power for some reason. It just seems to work with this car. And obviously that's about £1.42 at the moment per litre. So it is kind of expensive to fill up. The tank's 80 litres. It takes a lot of fuel. You'd need about 130 quid to fill it from empty. But the issue I have with it is just how quickly it burns that fuel. You know, at the moment I'm getting about 22 mpg, heavy foot. You know, I have had it up to about 30, but that was like a long highway cruise. But yeah, so that's one of the downsides, is that this is a fuel eater. It just drinks the fuel. And well, I was expecting that. I was told that, to look out for that in the common issues or running issues. But it's never really been a problem because it's only my Sunday and like not a nice day car, so having to fill it up daily is not really an issue for me, so I don't have to worry about that at all. And then a few niggles I found with ownership of the car. It's too low. You know, low life is good, but the problem is I'm scraping all the time on the driveway and I'm destroying that new W brace I put on. So I'm gonna have to raise it, not much, but just enough. I think it needs to go up like a centimetre. It's literally a centimetre, and I think that will fix the rear end completely. The suspension's completely bugging on. I don't know how old it is at all. Them lowering springs that I've been on there a while. Another issue is the seats. For me, I'm 6'3", bit of a big lad. The seats are a bit small. I feel like I'm sat on the car rather than in it sometimes. You really have to sort of adjust the seat perfectly to get that real, like, you're in the seat feel. They're nice seats, don't get me wrong, they're comfortable, way more comfortable than I thought they were going to be. But it's just one of those things. It's you sat on it rather than in it, I'm going to be honest. Boot space is nice. The sound's nice. I love the sound from that exhaust. And just the feel of the car on the road. Great handling car. I will be doing a full review of this car as the Nissan 350Z, not as my Nissan 350Z, but as a Nissan 350Z soon on this channel. And then just a couple of niggles I find is that having gauges on the dashboard that monitor like amp from the battery and or volt, whatever it is, and oil pressure and all that, it just gives you massive anxiety because you just don't want to see that like dropping as you're driving, because that happened to me with the battery when the alternator died. It was like just see the volts dying and dying until the car packs up eventually, and that's the first time I've ever broken down in a car. But apart from that, like, the car itself has been amazing. I've absolutely loved ownership of it. It's been the first car that I've taken to shows and taken to meet, and of course it's the car that I started McLaren Automotive Photography with, and I'm actually really glad how positive that channel's become and how much people love this car. They love to see it, and all my friends love it, definitely. And it's actually inspired a few people to sort of aspire to more and buy better things. But apart from that, guys, the whole ownership thing of this car hasn't been so bad. I've enjoyed owning it. I love being its project car, and I look forward to making more stuff for you on this channel, and I look forward to doing more mods for the car. The whole thing, I've got massive plans for it. I want to improve the suspension, do the brakes, do like new seats and bucket seats inside, maybe a different exhaust. It is a little bit sort of eBay style, and like that's okay for the time being because it came with the car. I'm not going to complain, I didn't have to pay for it. But you know, there's nothing really wrong with it. It hasn't got rust around the rear arches like some of these cars from like the one of the common issues of these cars. It hasn't got a lot of underbelly rust. One of the only things I need to do is sort out the kidney brackets, but at the moment they're still structural, so that's fine. But yeah, like, just owning it, and it's not been a bad year, guys. So I look forward to making more content for you with this vehicle. Yeah, guys, so I hope you've enjoyed this insight into 1 year of ownership of Zara, the Project 350Z. I can't believe it's come around that quickly already. But I look forward to making more mod videos for you, doing more reviews on this channel, going to more meets and shows, and creating more content. So if you like the video, don't forget to like and subscribe. Hit that notification bell so you know I'm uploading more videos, and I'll look forward to making more content for you. See you later.